Episode 18 of 52 Axe Patterns. I'm Ed with RedBeard Knife and Tool, and this is my story about the intricacies of restoring and hanging 52 different axe patterns. There's something intimate about bringing an old axe back to life. Some have been through a lot, and some haven't. And giving them a new purpose, whether it's hanging them on a wall or putting them back into service, I get to change their history. Every axe has a story. This is the Swamper pattern axe. I would say it's it had some blue paint left on it. I got it all cleaned off because I'm going to do something special to the head. So I want to just kind of prepared a little bit before the filming, and it has a little bit of blue paint on it. There's a little bit left down inside the eye. I don't know if you can see that right there. That would tell me that it was probably a Forest King. Forest King was, I think they're Collins made. I'm not real sure, but super cool pattern axe, right? The Swamper pattern. So with that said, I managed to get my hands on a super cool Forest King NOS, never hung. It's got some age to it. 36-inch double bit handle. It's super thin. It's got a little bit of a palm swell up here. It's actually pretty comfortable, but it's got some oxidation on the lacquer, and I'm going to, I don't know, I'm kind of undecided how I'm going to address this handle, but we're definitely gonna hang the Swamper on this axe. Forest King handle, Forest King Swamper. I think it's kind of a cool match, but yeah, these were replacement handles. I think they stopped making them, I think, in the 80s. So, and they still pop up every now and then, but this one actually has pretty good grain orientation. Goes left to, straight up and down, pretty much. So we're gonna get started. Let me get the belt put on this thing. By the way, a lot of people have been asking me, and I'm probably going to do a video on this, but this is an AMK Tools 2x72 belt grinder. It's a knife maker's belt grinder. I make knives also. I haven't, since I've started messing with axes, my knife making is kind of on the downhill slope. I still make them, but axes are so much fun, and I've been doing axes on these for quite a while with this, and it's great. But it's an AMK Tools AMK 77. Let's get a belt on and get started. Whenever you see me pull on this, I'm just basically pulling to make sure that the tracking is lined up, and that way I don't check it. I don't have to check it when it's running, because 24 grit belt is pretty abrasive, especially to skin. So let's get going. Let me get a marker. So I've already marked the top of this eye. I'm going to do it again real quick, just so I know, or the top of the axe, so I know where it's going to sit. And then I'm going to mark the top of this on this side. That's so I know where it's going to, so I put it back on the same way every time. So let's get started. Let me look, have a look. Take a little bit off the sides. We'll take a little bit off the sides first, and then we'll line it up and see how it looks. Probably all right. going in. Let's give it a couple of pops. All right, you look here, you see it's not exactly straight. It's kind of like, it's kind of canted this way a little, like that way. That means you can see there's a lot of curl on this side, not too much on this side. So I'm going to take off a little bit more on this side of the axe, and hopefully it should straighten out. Yeah, way more curl on this side than this side. So we're going to thin out this side just a little bit more. All right, so again, it's still kind of trying to go that way, that direction. So it's kind of holding it up. So I'm going to try to get some more off of it and take it down a little bit more. Yep, still a little much, too much curl, but it's getting pretty good contact on this side. We just need to worry about this side. All right, got it all touched up. I'm going to set this handle aside, and let's go ahead and get the wedge made for this, and then get it sharpened. Yeah, we're going to do that. So this AMK 77 grinder, it's got a track system in it, and it can tighten and lower this. This loosens the arm. This loosens the track right here. So when I loosen the arm, pull this little knob out, flip it over, and there's a little thing for it to sit, tighten that back up, and then tighten this up. Yep, that tightens everything. And then I have my flat platen. Because I'm using a wedge, I'm going to need a hard back on it. Tighten that up. This is an arm that sits up here. This is for knife making. I tend to leave it down here because it deflects all of the dust and everything else into my can that I have hanging directly underneath it. I don't have an air filtration system or anything like that. Typically, when I'm grinding metal or wood, I'll just blow it straight out the garage, and that seems to work for me for now. We'll have to see if I can get a bigger shop next in the future. But for now, this is my process for why I do what I do. So we all got to work with what we have sometimes, and this is what I have. So I have it's kind of flexible right now, so I'm going to pull my platen loosen it up some. Pull my platen right up to it and then tighten it up. And now I have a hard backer. So with doubles, typically wedges are going to be pretty thin. They're not going to go very far. It's going to be plenty long enough. So I'm going to thin this wedge out a little bit and we'll get this going. All right, so I did that, got it thinned out a good little bit. But I don't know if you see me round this top. See how it's kind of got like more of a crown now. You don't want to have any real sharp edges sometimes. I've been starting to round off my edges, just kind of touch them, because sharp edges, if you hit it wrong, it's going to chip. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to fit it for the top of the eye. So. All right, we got it. We got it. Look at that. I think it's going to be glorious. Got that done. Now I'm going to pull the flat platen off, and I'm now going to get my belt all lined up and ready to sharpen the bits. All right, this is 36. So I'm going to start with 36 and then go to 60 and then 80. Then 120, and then probably some flex belts to kind of even everything out, and then conditioning belts. I got a brand new set of conditioning belts, so this should be fun. I'm pretty excited. And I'm going to turn my fan on. All right, got my initial bevel on there. I don't know if you could see, you could probably see the glinting from the burr right there. That's what you're looking for. It goes all the way from heel to toe. And yeah, on both sides. So I'm gonna move on to 60, but I'm just gonna do a fast forward through this. That way you guys can see everything that's going on. All right, now I'm using the 120 flex belt, and that's just basically gonna kind of even everything out a little bit. And I don't know if you noticed, I don't spend a whole lot of time on the belt progression, basically because once you get that initial bevel with the 36 grit, you're not doing anything except refining the lines within the bevel. So it's not making it sharper, it's just making it prettier, because you can still use it once you knock the burr off. You see that? That's with the 120 flex belt. That's with the 120 ceramic belt. So there's a significant difference. So it seems I'm out of my 220 belts. So I'm going straight from 220 to 120. I'm sorry, 220 to 320. But it'll still be okay. at that. 400. Let's get the conditioning belts out. So I really think I only need to go start with the fine and then to go to the ultra fine. And that's it. Because usually when I go to 400, ultra fine or the fine is going to pretty much touch up the edge. And I will show you guys the difference here in a second. That's the fine, and that's the 400. So all it does is just kind of make everything more neat. All right. Yeah. That's pretty. That's pretty. I'm going to stop right here because now from here I'm going to paint this close to the original color that the Force King heads came on, and then we'll work on the handle. So I'm going to have some time for that paint to dry. All right, I almost forgot. I had to wire wheel this, and now I need to wipe it down with some acetone just to kind of give the steel its best chance for the paint to stick and stay. So just a little bit of acetone, wipe everything down, get all the oils off of it. A little bit of dirt, see a little bit of dirt there? A little bit of dirt. Like I said, we're just giving the paint the best chance to stick and stay. So there's that. Put this away. There. Now we're ready to start masking. I'm not sure. I don't know how the Force King profiles were, so I'm just going to go. I'm probably just going to go straight and hope for the best. Let's do that. If you know the pattern of the Force Kings, let me know. I would be interested to know. I'm going to go about an inch from the edge, and I think that'll be sufficient. This one is almost too short. It worked. Oh, need to come back a little bit. See? There. I think that'll do. I haven't painted an axe since episode 1, so this is exciting. That one was the Kelly Perfect, and I put the original Kelly Perfect. I wouldn't say NOS paint job, but it's pretty darn close. It's pretty doggone close. Yeah, that looks good. Straight. Does it look straight? Does it look straight? I think it looks straight. Looks pretty good. There's a net. Yeah, that looks pretty good. There. Now for the paint. Be right back. Let me get this shook up. This is the Rust-Oleum. It's called Maui Blue, but I think that's pretty doggone close to the Forest King color. Yeah. Get this shook up. I'll be right back. So I have a bunch of these wires hanging on a rail in my shop here, and it's already kind of set up to hang on a 2x4 that I use. But yeah, that's pretty much it right there. And well, I don't want to do this. There. No. Got to make sure it's not going to slip off, but I also don't want to. I don't want to. Let's turn this up a little bit. Make sure it's not going to slip off, but I don't want to paint where. There we go. That's good. So it's not covering anywhere where I'm going to paint. So. Get this done. And I'm just going to put a light coat on first, and then I'll hang it up, and then let it sit while we're messing with the handle, and then maybe another coat. Be right back. I think that's pretty good for our first coat. Let me go hang it up. All right. Now we're going to figure out what to do with this oxidized lacquered handle. Yeah. So I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I was just like, man, I don't know what to do about this handle. And he gave me what I think is probably the best suggestion that I could think of, is because I was like, do I just strip the whole thing with the label, or do I just leave it as it is? Do I, sand around the label and try to conserve it? He was like, just use a card scraper, scrape around it, and you don't need to sand it after that. I was like, that's a great idea. I think I'm going to do that. So let me get this clamped in, and I'll show you what he was talking about. I got my card scraper. Let me see if I can use this other one too. I probably won't need to, but these are all Whiskey River card scrapers. This one and this one. This one's got a little U, and what do you know? It fits. Well, kinda. Let's see. That's kind of not quite, but it's close. It's super close, but it's definitely pulling. Pulling off around the radius. See, it's kind of, I think I would just rather do it manually like that. Yeah. Just the radius isn't quite right with that. So what I can do is I'll just scrape this lacquer off, and yeah, that's nice. I'll scrape this lacquer off, and then I'll just run some steel wool over the handle, and that should smooth it out nicely. All right, we got it done, and it feels freaking amazing. So we don't even need to sand it. Don't even need to sand it. I'm just going to rub it down with some steel wool just to kind of even everything out, and it's going to be great. Yeah, that's going to be great. Got the second coat done. Yeah. All right, so I got my steel wool here, and I'm just going to rub it down a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be freaking nice. It feels fantastic. Just to take off the loose pieces of lacquer, really. To kind of work around this sticker a little bit. But man, I don't think there's anything. I'll have to sand. I'm going to sand this. And then, of course, I'll have to sand the top here after we cut the top of the tongue off. But yeah, so now we're just waiting on the paint to dry on the head. So I don't know. I'll check in about 20 minutes. And we'll see. It'll be just a couple seconds for you, though. Be right back.
7 hours later.
Got it done. It's dry. Oh, man. This is super sweet, and I'm pretty excited. If I can get this tape off. Look at that. Oh, yeah. That is gorgeous. Put it on a rag. All right, so I didn't sand this too much, so I'm gonna hit this real quick, and then we'll be set. Get this thing plugged in. There we go. Well, that didn't take much. And yeah, look at that. Let's figure out which side. I'll put a mark on the inside. Oh, there it is. I put a mark on the inside so I knew where it was going to go. Because once I painted it, yeah, okay. Thought I might have been confused for a second. All right, let's tap it down. Yep. Let's go a little bit further, just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That sounded more solid. Yeah, so we got a little bit of curl. I'll trim it out after we get everything all set and done. Let's put the wedge in. Of course, I forgot my polymerized linseed oil. Got it right here. While that's draining off, let's see if we can get this. Sometimes you can't help it. There we go. let's get this wedge set. Get that done. That done. I am excited. All right. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Pretty nice expansion. Let's go get it cut. Yeah. That looks pretty doggone good. Look at that. Yep. Let's get this thing sanded. This thing is freaking cool, and man, let's get some oil on it. See if I can bring this up where I can show you guys. You see? Yeah. Walnut wedge on a hickory Forest King handle. Vintage Forest King handle at that. It's cool. I want to say this was probably hardwood. Maybe it's just aged. I don't know. But, yeah. Look at that. Let's get this handle oiled. Oh my goodness. This thing is sick. I love the way this handle feels. Absolutely love it. Yeah. And the hand and the tag on it actually got a little bit brighter. I'm just gonna have to be careful. The linseed oil will actually seal it a little bit. Yeah, I think it'll kind of preserve it a little bit, because linseed oil has a preserving property, of course. But once it polymerizes, it's going to seal that sticker pretty nicely. Let me get this thing wiped down, and I'll be right back. Episode 18, the Swamper pattern, is in the books, and I can't tell you how pleased I am that I was able to get a Forest King vintage new old stock handle. I wouldn't say new, but it's been sitting on a shelf somewhere forever, and someone grabbed it and I ended up with it. Yeah, I am super excited to be able to use this handle on this head at this moment. Yeah, this is a cool little piece of history, and I am super stoked about it. Forest King handle, the Forest King Swamper head. I want to say the original color was probably a little more green, almost like this color and teal kind of mixed. But I dig it. It looks freaking badass, right? Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I want to thank you to Ryan over at Granicova for hooking me up with this handle. I made a trade for him. It's been a while. He's like, dude, finally you're going to use the handle. I'm like, I know, but if this was just the right time. That's just the way it goes sometimes. You got to wait for them to speak to you and let them know when they're ready. But today was the day for this handle and this head. Yeah. Yeah, this was just a really fun build, and I'm really excited about it. If you see something you like, let me know. If you see something you didn't like, let me know, and we'll see if we can have a discussion to see if I need to change anything. But I think this one turned out pretty nicely, and I hope you do too. And yeah, episode 18 of 52 Wax Patterns, the Swamper. Best way to support my channel is to like, share, and subscribe. And shoot me a comment. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you. You guys have a good day.